Hi everyone, it's me. I'm back, still here in Bogota after my first week of my second trip. Um, I just wanted to do another talking video. I know some guys are thinking about looking for places maybe closer to home that they might want to retire or at least visit and long term or go back and forth. So there were some things when I did my last kind of talking head video in Bogota was when I was staying in that like super expensive neighborhood, and I chose to stay in a neighborhood this time that's more less expensive, number one, but more like normal for what you would see in Colombia. So I wanted to talk about that and give you maybe some differences as opposed to what I did in the first video. So I'm staying in what's called Chapinero, which is I don't know, probably 30 or so blocks south of where I was before in the Parque 93 area. It's I would guess like middle class type neighborhood. So it's a good neighborhood still. It's just not super high end like the one I was in before, the Chico neighborhood. Um, Airbnb wise, there's a lot around here, and there's a big range of what you would pay. Again, kind of based on where you are. I wanted to get a place for 30 days as like a base that I could keep and not have to check out. We are going to go, Melanie and I are going to go to probably next week, maybe the week after, to the Caribbean coast, to Rio Hacha, Santa Marta, the beach, and probably for like 4 or 5 days to see a different side, in the mountains here. Climate wise here, it's anywhere from in Fahrenheit like 64 degrees during the day to I think 47 was the coldest I've seen it both last trip and this trip. I'm not cold natured, so I'm wearing a t-shirt. I wear t-shirts, golf shirts, fishing shirts, the Columbia ones, and I'm totally comfortable even at night. Everybody that lives in Bogota seems to me anyway to be cold natured because they're always wearing coats and jackets, and the girls I'm around are always cold no matter what the temperature is. But that's I think that's just a personal thing. Um, so climate wise, we are up in the mountains. The city itself is at 8,500 feet, and the mountains are all around it, the Andes Mountains. So it's always cool. Almost every day on both trips I've been here, it's been sunny, at least most of the day. But you do get usually a little rain shower some part of the day. So bought a little compact umbrella and keep it with me because, if we're out seeing sights or something and we leave here and the sun's shining, it's likely that we'll have a rain shower at some point before we get back home. This city's very walkable, but it's very large at the same time. There's 12 million people. If you look at my top of the mountain video where we were up at Monserrate, and you can see the whole city. It's spread into neighborhoods, over the entire valley here. So if you're going from neighborhood to neighborhood, you need to take transportation. They do have a very good, reliable bus system here. If you're trying to kind of be economical, it's like between 40 and 70 cents US for a ride on the Transmilenio. It's called Transmilenio. Buses are nice. I don't like buses because the city's so large, especially during the day when people are going to and from school and work. They're very, very crowded. I think they're fairly safe. I have not myself ridden on one, but I know a lot of people that do. And you can get like a monthly card, like you can in a lot of cities for subway, trains, or buses, and it's inexpensive. There's cabs everywhere. You can take those if you want to. I know for security reasons, some people don't because mostly in the past they had some like fake cab incidents where particularly tourists would get in a cab at night, for example, and one of two things would happen: either the cab would like take the long way, so your fare would be twice as much as it should have been, or on the extreme end, they'll take you to a neighborhood not where you wanted to go and have somebody rob you and drop you off. Um, as I'm told, and from what I've heard here, that kind of thing's not really going on anymore. Um, not in this city anyway. Um, it is possible though that the cab would, take the long route and pad your cost of your ride. Uber is very, very popular here, and that's what I've been doing when I go someplace where I don't want to walk. And I think the longest ride I took cost me like $4, and that's with a tip. Most of them are like $2 from one neighborhood to the adjacent neighborhood, for example. And I'd maybe give them a 500 peso tip, which is about 25 cents, and they're happy with that. So I guess my advice, if you're coming here, you're going to stay here, or even if you're just coming here for a week or something, it's fine to walk around in your neighborhood that you're staying in. It's very walkable. Like I said, where I'm staying is an area that's got a lot of restaurants and clubs and that sort of thing in it. So I can literally walk a block or two from where I'm staying and get pretty much any kind of food I want. On security, before I came here the first time, I heard everybody, "Oh, it's dangerous there. They kidnap tourists and stab them, rob them, blah 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 blah." Again, that's a thing that mostly happened in the past here. It's not really that way anymore. It is a large city, so you do have to be conscious of your security. By and large, most of the crime that you might experience or see here is like pickpocketing, that sort of stuff. So I've been told over and over again, don't wear like a lot of jewelry, don't dress up too fancy when you go out because it marks you as a tourist. Kind of blend in as best you can with the local population. Don't put your wallet in your back pocket. That's pickpocket 101. So I got a slim wallet that I can put in my front pocket. Another thing you don't want to do is if you're walking around, particularly at night, not so much during the day, but particularly at night, you don't want to have your cell phone out all the time, particularly if you're walking right next to the road, because that is a deal. Cell phones being snatched out of your hand by somebody on a motorcycle when you're standing right next to the street. So you can use your cell phone. That's probably the reason why I haven't done a lot of walking videos either time I've been here, is because the times that I had opportunities to do that, I was out where you were in the evening, for example, and I was told just don't walk around with your cell phone out. Don't, like, a lot of times when people are in an unfamiliar place, they'll look at their Google Maps or GPS and kind of keep it in their hand and walk, use it as a direction finder when you're walking around. You'd probably be all right doing that here, but I'm told that's not a good idea. So it's good to kind of look at where you're going. If you're going walking someplace that you don't know where you're going, kind of plan that out ahead of time before you leave, so you don't have to be watching your cell phone all the time. Other than that, at night, I've been advised to, and I have, if I'm going anywhere outside of my just immediate vicinity to eat, for example, we'll take an Uber, and they'll drop you right where you're going, and then vice versa, when you go home, you get right in the Uber, and it drops you right in front of your Airbnb or hotel or whatever. And that way there's like zero chance that you're going to get robbed or pickpocketed. As far as robbing is concerned, that's apparently only concerned at night. That mostly happens in and around bars really late at night when you're walking around by yourself, or in an area where there's not a lot of other people. That's makes you a target, so kind of avoid that. As far as accommodations are concerned, there's tons of Airbnbs all over the city. The further north you go, in the city. The more expensive it is because it's kind of a higher end neighborhoods up to the north, like where I was staying last time. With the exception of a place called Usaquin, which is just north of where I was last time, which is also very nice. And until like 10 or 15 years ago, it was a separate city. It wasn't part of Bogota. It is now, but I mean, you can get a similar Airbnb to what I'm staying in, a one bedroom with a kitchen, furnished, towels, sheets, coffee makers, refrigerators, everything, for anywhere from 300 to 500, depending on how nice you want it to be. And I've been in that neighborhood. It's a very nice neighborhood. It also is very walkable. It has malls, grocery stores, restaurants, all that right around where you would stay. So that's a good choice for some people. I wanted to be more in the kind of local area. So south of where I stayed last time, all the way to Candelaria. It's kind of the midtown, I guess, part. Is Chapinero Alto, and there's a huge concentration of restaurants, bars, parks, that sort of thing. And like I said, once you find a place to stay in that area, you really could literally never have to take a car or anything except back and forth to the airport, because there's, like where I'm staying, less than a block away is a 24-hour high-end grocery store, so I can go in there and get groceries or drugs. They also have a drugstore. It's like a big supermarket. Anything I want, 24 hours a day. Downstairs, right out my front door, is a really good pizza place, which I'm not a huge fan of pizza, but it smelled so good. I had some pizza the other night. And it's all inexpensive. There's a lot of local Colombian food places. By the way, Colombian food is very good. A lot of grilled meats, chicken, beef, pork, that sort of thing, with various sauces on it. Either potatoes, if that's your preference, or rice, and then some kind of vegetable or salad with a drink will run you anywhere from about $2 to $3 for a complete meal. So it's very inexpensive. This city being a large city, you also have all the options that you would have in any other large city. They have pretty much any kind of food you'd like. We went to a really nice steakhouse the other night. I took one of my friends over there, and it was as good as any steakhouse that I've been to in any other city. I had like a 2-inch thick, probably 16-ounce New York strip, potatoes, salad, and we had a bottle of wine. She had like filet mignon cut up, potatoes, salad, etc. And the whole bill for both of us was like $39 with the tip. So it's a meal that would have cost in Austin like $200. So it's very inexpensive. It was good, by the way, too. But they've got Chinese, Japanese, Mexican. There's KFC, McDonald's. If you get the American fast food itch, it's all right around here. There's beautiful old churches, lots of nice parks, big squares, where they often have people entertaining like you would have in maybe New York or New Orleans. I guess the only drawback, and I said this before, is if you don't speak any Spanish at all, you're going to be using your translator a lot, because not a lot of people speak English here. A lot of them speak a few words, but not fluently. I will say, though, this city itself, and particularly the area that I'm in, has tons of universities here. So anybody that you would run across that's younger, like college age, most of them do speak at least some English. So if you get stuck and you can't get across what you want to get across in Spanish, and it's a younger person, it's likely they'll switch to English and you'll still be able to communicate with them. But even the people here that I've spoken with in these last 2 trips that don't speak English at all, with my limited, let's say, intermediate or less Spanish, we've been able to communicate to where I got my point across. So They're patient with you, especially if you're trying to speak Spanish. They appreciate that. So if you are planning on coming down here, I suggest like Babbel or one of those Spanish learning apps, and get at least a little bit of conversational Spanish under your belt before you get here. It'll just help you a lot quicker, to get your point across and get around. What else? If you're going to stay here long term, let's say you want to live here 6 months of the year and live back in your home country 6 months of the year, or if you're planning to find a place here and stay permanently, I have been looking into rental apartments and even buying apartments here in this city. Bogota, I'm told, is one of the more expensive places, but that being said, if you stay in a mid to kind of mid-upper level neighborhood, you can rent an unfurnished place. Studio goes for about $225 US a month, and they're pretty good size for studio apartments. A one bedroom about the size of this one, which I would say is probably about 800 square feet, maybe 900. Again, unfurnished is going to be in the $300 to $400 a month range, and then 2 and 3 bedrooms, you're looking at anywhere from $450 to maybe $600 a month. And the $600 a month would be on a larger square footage, with like a building with a lot of amenities, maybe a gym, maybe cleaning service included, that sort of thing. So it's inexpensive. As far as infrastructure is concerned here, the internet everywhere I've been is just awesome, even better than some of the places back home. So the IT infrastructure is very good here. I have not had any problems whatsoever with power outages, water shortages, water pressure, any of that stuff on either trip. And I'm told that really doesn't happen. It's not common here for that to happen. It could happen, of course. It can happen anywhere, but I haven't experienced it. Nobody I know that's lived here has experienced it either. So if you're looking at a rental or looking for a rental, depending on size and how much amenity you want, unfurnished place is going to be somewhere between $250 US to $600 US. The exception to that is that neighborhood I stayed in last time, because that's where all the embassies are. That's like the most expensive neighborhood in the whole city, and those places for rent, and you're talking about 16, 18, 2,000, 3,000 square feet penthouse places in very nice buildings, can rent anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 a month. But most of us are not going to look for something like that. That's like on the extreme high end. The Usaquin neighborhood that I mentioned earlier, which was north of that expensive place I stayed, has some very nice places, pretty close to the niceness of the expensive neighborhood, but still in the 200 to 600, depending on how big you want it, price range. So that's a good option for some people. I can't think of much else. The weather's good, like I said, especially if you like hot weather. This is not the place to go because it's never hot here. It's never really cold to me either. That again would be a personal preference thing. As far as the city goes, it's pretty easy to get around. I think it's safe. I haven't felt unsafe since I've been here. I know people have lived here for years and never feel unsafe. Just have to keep in mind it is a large city, so there are pickpockets and thieves and that sort of shit. Most all the buildings either have security guards on site, or like this one, I have keys to get, there's a gated area after hours, and the doorman lets you in during hours. After hours, you have to unlock this big iron gate and go in through the garage. And then there's lots of locks on the doors too, but they're almost all have some kind of security or another. So that's all I can think of for now. If you guys have any questions about this or want me to address anything, leave something in the comments. I'll read them, and I'll either answer them in the comments, or if there's enough of them, I'll do another sit-down vlog like this. Later in this week, I'll be doing some outdoor walk-around, interesting vlog. We're going to eat sushi tonight, so I may vlog that, a little short one. And then, of course, probably next week, we'll be going down to the coast, and I'll do a lot of vlogging down there, so you get to see that. All right, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.